So I'm here outside of Broadfield Stadium for Matchweek 14 in the WSL. I'm smiling because it's the first time I'm reporting in 2026. Unfortunately, during January I caught the flu. You can probably still hear the last remnants of it. My throat is still not 100% better, but that meant, unfortunately, that I missed Brighton's 2 away games in the WSL in January. The first was an away trip to Birmingham against Aston Villa. Brighton losing that one 2-1 with 2 goals in quick succession in the second half for the Villains, claiming them all 3 points. The second game, though, they did manage to get a win under interim head coach Chris Roberts. That was a 1-0 victory over Everton, just as they did here at Broadfield Stadium. You can see my former vlog for that game back in September. So the Seagulls currently sit 6th on 16 points, and today they take on London City Lionesses, who are just a point behind the Seagulls and 2 positions behind them in the table in 8th. So a big clash here. As you can tell, it's raining. I did have my hood up, but for this video I think I'm going to brave it and take down the hood. But yeah, a really big clash. So let's talk about some key players in this fixture. Now, Kiko Seke, an incredible player this season for the Albion, on 4 goals and 2 assists. She's got the most goal contributions for the Seagulls on the left flank. I definitely think she'll be starting today. I'm actually a bit earlier here today at Broadfield, so I'm not actually in time for the lineups. Normally I'm here around 11, so I quickly check them and then film, but today I don't have that luxury. But Kiko Seke, I imagine, will start. Carla Camacho, the striker for the Albion, she's been out of favour in the last few games, not started the last 4, only come on in the last few minutes as a substitute. So I expect that'll be the same once again with Madison Haley leading the line. She likes to play in the striker role, but hasn't really had many opportunities as that for Brighton. So hopefully she'll be wanting to get on the score sheet today. And in goal, Chiamaka Nnadozie, what a difference she's made for the Albion this season. I don't always agree with XG, but it does say that she should have conceded 13 goals in the opening 13 WSL games for the Seagulls in the WSL, but she's only conceded 10. So that shows she's saved about 3 goals, big opportunities that she's denied. She made a massive save against Everton last weekend as well. So great goalkeeper, watch out for her as well. But for London City Lionesses, a team who have just appointed Eder Maestre over the Christmas period. He's a manager who is, of course, Spanish from the name and also Spanish by nature. He likes to play possession-based football, be versatile in his pressing, and yeah, just get on the front foot. So I think it'll be a very dangerous opposition for Brighton today. And Eder Maestre just in his 4th game as manager and searching for his first win, London City's first win as well of the year. Key players to watch out for is Godfrey, the right winger who scored a goal against Manchester City last weekend in that 2-1 defeat. I thought London City arguably deserved more. Maestre thought they deserved more. So they'll be coming here today with a lot to prove. So watch out for Godfrey on the right flank. Kosovar Aslani in midfield. I don't think we can mention London City without her, an incredible Swedish international, so experienced and a playmaker at that. She's a number 10, loves to display play, loves to arrive late in the box. She's a danger in all aspects, so watch out for her. And lastly, of course, Isabel Goodwin, the target striker, the physical player, builds up play, really good at winning those first balls. Watch out for her. So obviously I mentioned earlier as well about interim manager Chris Roberts. He's come in for Dario Vidicic, usually the Brighton manager, but unfortunately he suffered a bereavement recently of his father, Rado Vidicic, and I'm sure the fans will get to pay tribute here today, but I wanted to mention my condolences to everyone at the club for the passing of Rado Vidicic. I know it's affected them all massively because of how incredible he was here. He was part, or at least head coach, of girls and women's coaching at Albion, and he'd also managed out in Australia, so a very successful coach, a lovely man, and I never got to meet him personally, but I know it's taken a toll on the team for sure, so wanted to mention that, my condolences. But Chris Roberts doing a good job so far. He'll be hoping for victory, but my prediction for this one, normally I bet with the Seagulls, normally I want them to win, well I always want them to win because you get an attachment when you report on a team for so long, but I do think London City Lionesses might just nick it. The quality they have, the fact they're really going to want to get a win after falling short against Manchester City, I'm going to go 2-1, but we'll see how it goes here at Broadfield, and hopefully a strong crowd despite the rain.
Charlie Rule looks to get onto the end of a pass. She's going to win it ahead of Pattinson. Charlie Rule feeds it in towards the penalty area. It's going to break here for Kiko Seke, who shoots into the corner. A fabulously worked goal. And Brighton over Albion midway through the first half break the deadlock, and you have to say it was deserved. It was
for the Albion, score from number 11, Kiko Seke.
it was really emblematic, Annabel, of a lot of their attacks down that right-hand side. A good counter-attack, and finished off well by Kiko Seike.
Yeah, it was a superb finish into that far side, and Seike really is the playmaker, the goal scorer for the Albion at the moment. That's now, I believe, 5 goals to her name, extends her lead as the top goal scorer for the Albion this season. And as I say, a superb finish, but a superb move. And yeah, it's really pleasing to see that Brighton can capitalise on when the game is quite, reaching a lull, because they were so frantic and energetic in that first few minutes, and then it started to ease off. So it's nice to see them capitalise maybe when the game was at even a lower tempo, kind of stun London City Lionesses, and deserved lead, as you say.
It's a good point actually that you make, Annabel, because like you said, the start was very much, try and overwhelm that London City defence.
Yes.
And they had the chances, they couldn't put them away, and then, as you say, it sort of went into a bit of a holding pattern where neither side was really able to make a lot of progress. And then that first big opportunity since that early flourish, they've managed to put that away. And
I thought performance-wise we were so dominant, chances created dominant, clear-cut chances as well. On another day we score 4 or 5 goals and we leave here with 3 points. I'm extremely proud of the performance. A little bit disappointed, of course, in the manner of the 2 goals, because we spoke about that counter-attack threat, which is something that London City showed against Man City. It's a big part of their game, so we need to be a little bit better in those moments, which we usually are. But from an all-round performance today, I thought we were terrific for most of the game.
I was just going to say about Freya Godfrey, of course, she turns the game on its head with the assist for, unfortunately, Army's own goal, and then scores a brilliant solo goal. Sometimes you just have to credit the opposition and their quality, or do you feel like you could have maybe done more in terms of her having so much space on the flank?
I think first of all, credit to her. Both moments were exceptional. She's a very talented player, and she's a very dangerous player. She showed that last week as well. But yeah, both goals are massively preventable. Our structure under the ball for the first one isn't right. The second one, we probably commit too many players to the breakdown, and then there's a free pass and then an opportunity to go forward. So I need to look at both of them in more detail, but there is always ways to prevent goals. But certainly the goals didn't come from lack of effort.
So it's full time here at Broadfield Stadium, and Brighton have suffered a 2-1 defeat to London City Lionesses. Freya Godfrey, star of the show and player of the match here, after her efforts in that first half, claimed London City all 3 points. That sees them move up into 6th, taking the place off of Brighton, and Brighton move down into 7th. They remain on 17 points, London City now 2 ahead. So Brighton looking to bridge that gap in their next game, which I'll be there for next weekend against West Ham. But let's talk this one, because Brighton started so brightly and got a goal for their efforts. Plenty of balls flashing across the box. Rosa Kafaji couldn't get onto. She was kind of occupying a more central role from the left flank. And unfortunately, as I say, she couldn't get her foot on any. She also had a shot herself, which ended up looking more like a cross. But Kiko Seike firing the Seagulls ahead deservedly in the 25th minute. Her finish was a superb one after a good piece of build-up from Brighton. And as I say, her finish flashed across goal into the far side netting, and that makes her continue her reign as the highest goal-scoring player for the Albion this season. But it also takes her now to 5 goals. And it seemed everything was comfortable for Brighton. They were looking to get a second, but unfortunately the first half ended in a horrible fashion for the Seagulls. An own goal from defender Mweka Minami in the 36th minute saw the sides level up. Mweka Minami could only clear her lines into the back of the net past Chiamaka Nnadozie after a superb cross from Freya Godfrey. Very threatening one. Isabel Goodwin was on Minami's shoulder, so all she could really do was either get a touch on it and put it into the back of her net, as she did, or just try and leave it and hope that Isabel Goodwin missed. In hindsight, you'd say the latter was probably the better option, but unfortunately for Mweka Minami, it wasn't meant to be, and that own goal sees her get her first goal for the Albion in unfortunate fashion. So that was 1-1, and London City Lionesses not looking much more lively from that, obviously a bit more confident, stunned the fans at Broadfield, but very quickly it proved that London City were going to go into the break 2-1 up when Freya Godfrey cut in, and well, it was an incredible piece of skill from her, step overs, and then fired it in to the far side netting. It just seemed all too easy for her. She had so much time and space, and it was almost like time slowed down. Chiamaka Nnadozie rooted to the spot, and she just picked her place in the far left upper corner. It was incredible, but That meant, as I say, the script was flipped rather before half time, and then London City Lionesses in the second half preserving their lead. There were chances for Brighton, but not as clear-cut as the first half. I did mention, I think, or maybe I haven't, that Seke hit the post in the first half. Nadine Nordum hit the post too, so those two opportunities for Brighton really, they'll really rue those missed opportunities, because second half, London City made lots of changes, as did Brighton. Brighton, trying to take the game to London City, had consecutive corners toward the end of the match, came so close to scoring. Chiamaka and Adozi, the goalkeeper, even came up for a corner. But it just wasn't meant to be. I don't think Brighton got the rub of the green as much as they tried to gain momentum and keep pushing on. London City, bringing in their substitutes, could break up play in the midfield. And as I say, the luck was on their side to see out the contest and get all 3 points. I did speak to Chris Roberts. You can hear some of his thoughts in the prior video, but he was really pleased with the performance and just really disappointed in the manner in which Brighton suffered defeat. He said on another day they'd get those goals that they had, chances to score. And yeah, unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be despite Brighton's efforts. And Freya Godfrey, he did say, a quality player. Sometimes you've just got to admit, when a player turns up like that, gets an assist and a goal, there's not much more that you can do. So Freya Godfrey moves up to 4 goals and I think 3 assists, something of that like. So very prolific for London City. And for Brighton, as I say, it's a trip now to West Ham away. I'll be there at I think it's called Dagenham and Redbridge Stadium, not entirely sure. It's got quite a few different names, but I'll be there at that ground for that game, and we'll see if Brighton can try and take some points off of the Hammers, who of course beat them 2-1 in the League Cup, knocking Brighton out arguably in that tight group stage. So Brighton will be hoping to get their own back on the Irons on their own turf, but I'll see you for that one next weekend. But here today, London City Lionesses claiming a 2-1 victory, and as I said, I predicted 2-1, so at least I got the prediction right, but not the result the Brighton fans here would have wanted.